Welcome back, Short Kings. This is for all the newbies out there who just got a PS5 and also just bought or are thinking about buying PS Plus and want to know what they're paying for. I've talked to so many people in real life about PS Plus, and those who have it just bought premium to play it safe and yet don't even know what the benefits are. With the price of PS Plus increasing 30% every year, I want you to get your money's worth. So this video will not only be a friendly beginner's guide, but will determine if you're in the right place. I do not want you wasting your money, and PS Plus is expensive. This guide will also be valuable for current members who have a tough time navigating the confusing menus. I'll show you every single benefit with every tier, and exactly how to get to the appropriate menu. For example, if you have PS Plus Extra like me and go to view all the games, you get shown the premium games too. I don't want to see these games. I can't even play them. Why are you showing them to me? This is a frustrating way to view the games, and there is a better, cleaner way to view your PS Plus Extra games, and only extra games. You'll learn valuable tips like this and many others. So let's explore PS Plus to see if you are getting the maximum value out of it. The Essential tier. This is the most basic tier, and it used to be $60 just a few years ago. It's the most affordable option and now is a necessity for most online multiplayer games. But it didn't used to be that way. Let's talk about the benefits. Multiplayer. We had one thing going for us over Xbox that we could rub in their faces, and that was that it was free to play online multiplayer games. Sadly, that's not the case anymore, and now we need a subscription just to play online. For most games anyways. Now there are a few free-to-play games that don't require PS Plus. So if you or your kids play Fortnite, Warzone, or Rocket League or games like that, and you just bought them a PS5, you don't need to pay for even this basic tier. You can live in that classic PS3 era by playing online games for free. That is, if you play these free-to-play games. You don't have to do anything special here. Just connect your PS5 to the internet. Exclusive packs. What the heck does this mean? Now that we're on the topic of free-to-play multiplayer games, many of these games have custom skins, outfits, weapons, and even dances. Within these games, you can get these in two ways. You either spend hours and hours playing the game and gaining experience points, or you have to buy them with real money. Parents, listen up. This is the danger zone. This is how your kid's free game will magically show up as a $4,000 bill on your credit card. So PSA, make sure your credit card is not linked to your account. Create a separate account for your kids. Anyways, what are exclusive packs? Well, just by being a PlayStation Plus member, they will give you some freebies. These could be cool outfits, weapon skins, or even in-game coins. Monthly games. This has been going on for a while too. Every month you get 3 free downloadable monthly games. You can access them by going to PS Plus, scrolling down, and you'll see monthly games right there. Sometimes it shows up under benefits as well. These games are yours to play and keep for as long as you remain a PS Plus member. Even if you download them and delete them, they will always be in your library. If you've been a PS Plus member for a few years, you should have hundreds of games on your account by now. Now, these games are not always good. You don't get to choose. Some months are good and some months are bad. But a free game is a free game. Well, not exactly free. You are still paying like $10 a month. But hey, $10 for 3 games every month is still a pretty good deal, even if they're bad games. Try buying that in real life. Last weekend, I just saw Sackboy, which was a monthly game a few years ago, in a used bin at GameStop. And they were charging $70 for it. Used! That's almost the price of the entire PS Plus Essential tier. Discounts. Speaking of used game prices, you get discounts with PS Plus as a benefit. So if PS Plus is not enough and you still want to buy some games, you get a further discount by being a PS Plus member. Some discounts are pretty great, like up to 80% off, but the majority, in my case, have been for games that I do not care about. These are trash games that we call shovelware, but you might get lucky sometimes and get a decent game or even a DLC to a game you enjoy for a great price. Now, unlike the free monthly games, the games you buy here are actually yours forever to keep. You own them, even if you cancel PS Plus. But personally, I would just go to the main PS Store page and look for discounts there instead. Cloud storage or cloud saves. Okay, this one, no one asked for it. It's helpful in theory, but it is a downgrade from what it used to be. This feature allows your system to automatically or manually back up your game saves to the cloud. Why this is good? For me, I have a PS5 at my house and a PS4 at my girlfriend's house. So if I have PS Plus on both systems, I can download the same game on both consoles. But the problem is, I have to start over from scratch because it's a new system. Well, with the cloud saves, I can upload my saved file to the cloud on my PS5, and then when I get to the PS4, I can download my saved file for the same game. This allows me to continue progressing on the same game on multiple systems, which is pretty useful. We get access to 100 gigabytes of saved storage space, which should be more than enough for most gamers. But the problem is they did this by removing local USB stick manual saving. And this is true for all PS5 games. In fact, they have 2 different menu items for the PS5 and the PS4. And if you were to go to the PS4 section of the save data option, copy or delete from USB drive is still available. It's just not for PS5. So what that means for your PS5 game save files, you lose access to your own save files when you stop becoming a PS Plus member. When we had manual control, we could choose which saved file to load from. It's an often overlooked feature, the cloud saves, but it's either good or bad depending on how you look at it. SharePlay. And the last benefit to the Essential tier is this cool thing called SharePlay that barely anyone uses. This can come in real clutch when you need it, if you know how to use it. So what SharePlay is this feature allows you to invite a friend to either watch you play or take over the controls. This isn't just a party or group chat where you play online co-op multiplayer games together. They can actually take over as player one. It's almost like they're sitting beside you and plugged in their controller. This second controller can either be player two or it can take over as player one. It's like when you run out of batteries and switch controllers, except across vast distances. So what this means is your friend can play a game they don't own. It's like going to your friend's house to try out that new game they just bought to see if it's worth getting. You can totally just spectate, like a one-on-one Twitch stream, or you can take over the controls. This also comes in handy when you invite someone who is more experienced in the game than you. So a little kid having trouble with a boss can invite their big bro to help them get through a difficult section. Now, for this to work, both the host and the visitor have to be PS Plus members. They don't have to own the same game, but they need a PS Plus account. And also worth noting, there is a 1-hour time limit and you get kicked out. But there's nothing stopping you from inviting them back for another hour. The PS Plus Extra tier. This is the second tier. This is the tier that I recommend the most. It is the most bang for buck for sure. This tier is for people who want everything but also trim the fat. For people who think games are too expensive. There are 2 main reasons you should get PS Plus Extra. 1, if there's lots of games on the catalog that you would like to play. And 2, if you actually have the time to game. If both those statements are true for you, this is the best value in gaming today. It will keep you busy the whole year for the price of 1 or 2 new games. You can beat dozens of games in that time. Once a month, once a week if short games. And these are good games too. You're not at the mercy of the monthly drip that Sony sometimes throws together last minute. You get to choose what games to play out of hundreds. So if you do have the time to game and you're not a jaded old PlayStation fan that's already played everything on there, this will be so worth it for you, even with the price increases recently. If you're new to PlayStation, buckle up because there are some unforgettable experiences waiting around the corner. Let's go over the benefits real quick. Obviously for Extra, you get everything that Essential had, but we get more. So let's talk about that. The game catalog. This is a huge list of 400 downloadable games that you can play right now. This is the main draw of this second tier. It gives you access to PS4 and PS5 games that you can download, play, and delete with 0 consequences. No buyer's remorse here. Try a game every week or stick to the one you like for hundreds of hours. It is up to you. Not only do you immediately have access to 400 games, but every month, new games come to the service. But unlike Essential tier, where you only get 3 per month on PS Plus Extra, sometimes you get up to 10 or more a month. So even if you've played everything already that's on the catalog and things are starting to go stale, you have a new game to look forward to every single month. Now, before we get started, let's make sure you're navigating the right menu. See, if you open up PS Plus right now and go all the way to the right to games, there will be lots of games, too many games, even games you can't access because they're on the third tier. Premium. So before we go further in this section and talk about PS Plus Extra games, we have to show you how to view only extra games. So instead of going all the way right to games, we're going to go to benefits and game catalog. If it doesn't show up there, scroll down to your benefits and click it there. And then we click view games. Doing it this way will make sure that no PS3 games show up here. It's a lot less messy to look at, plus you can actually play every game you click on, unlike the premium ones they were showing you earlier. Within this new menu, you can sort them in many different ways. You can choose most downloaded to see what's popular right now. You can choose alphabetically or recently added to PS Plus to see what's new. You can also sort by genre, platform, show only PS5 games, only PS5 Pro enhanced games, or you can even show only games that have local multiplayer. Say you have a friend coming over and you want to give them some options, but you don't know where to start. This little menu is very helpful at narrowing things down. If you want a prettier sorting menu, you can go to collections. Here you can see which games are award-winning, which games are easy, which games are hard, which are good for a quick play session, cozy games, scary games, nostalgic games, or if you're new to PlayStation, click on this right here. Best from PlayStation. Just play these games right here and they will keep you busy all year long. You can also click on PS5 Essentials for some high quality gaming from Sony Studios. Most of these are top notch. You can even browse just the indies. Indies. Okay, let's talk about indie games for a second. Independent games are a hard sell for many gamers. They're used to buying only AAA games from huge studios. They are used to the disappointments, but instead of doing something different, like play indie games from a smaller studio, they go back to their toxic ex and complain over and over again. That's not why they're a hard sell though. It's not because their graphics aren't as polished or they look like vintage games sometimes, but because indie games will charge 20 to 40 bucks for a 4-hour experience. Those who play AAA games are used to spending 60 to 80 bucks for 60 to 80 hours of gameplay. So they've got this inherent value associated with how much time you spend in a game. The longer the game, the better the value. But as more and more people complain and realize that AAA games are trying to waste your time on purpose, indie games always keep popping up and getting high praise. So with PS Plus Extra, money is not an issue anymore. Every game, whether it's 4 hours or 100 hours, costs the same click. The only currency you have to worry about now is how you spend your time. So by the time you finish one AAA game, you could have finished 10 indie games. Now, in the world of buying games, that value makes sense. 10 indie games at 20 bucks, that's 200 bucks. But one 40-hour game costs only 60 bucks. So it makes more sense that way. Here, your time is more valuable. So for me and many others, this is finally the time to try out these short games that everyone's been talking about. It costs less time. And if you don't like it, you can delete it with zero buyer's remorse. You can technically play and beat a new game every single week. And that's what this channel focuses on. So if you haven't subscribed yet, if you like short games on PS Plus and you don't want to experiment, welcome to the gang, Shark King. I'll show you which games are good. Ubisoft Classics. Anyways, back to the tutorial. You're probably wondering, hey, where are all the Assassin's Creed games? And where are all the Far Cry games? Where are these games that waste your time? Well, remember how we navigated to this menu of only extra games because we didn't like seeing PS3 games too? Well, doing that also sorted out Ubisoft games. They do not show up in this menu. If you want to see only Ubisoft games, there is a separate menu. You go to collections and scroll down until you see Ubisoft and go to the right to see all games. So if you didn't enjoy that indie spiel and you want your 100-hour games full of fluff and collectibles and doing the same mission over and over again, Ubisoft is the #1 culprit of why games are like this nowadays. So if you want to go that route, this is where all the games are. Personally, I see Extra as buffet, and playing a 100-hour game on Extra is kind of like going to a buffet and only eating chicken balls the whole time. Just buy it if you like it so much. It'll be cheaper and you could keep it forever. This is your opportunity to try new things. Now, granted, Ubisoft does have some shorter and fun experiences as well, so let's give them a little bit of credit. Last chance to play. Now, it's important to note that these games are not yours. Just because you downloaded them doesn't mean you own them. If you cancel PS Plus, you lose access to the game, even if you have it downloaded on your system and are playing it right now. Also, if the game leaves the catalog, you lose access to the game again. Remember how we said every month we get new games, just like Essential? Well, the downside of Extra is every month we also lose a few games. This list of games is called the Last Chance to Play, and it is the most important part of this video. Imagine you're playing a game, you're 80% done, and the next day you boot it up, and nope, the game left the service, you lose access. It's hard to know which games have left already and which ones are still on your service. PlayStation doesn't explain it very well, so here's what to look out for. If you go all the way to the right to your library, go to the PlayStation Plus tab. If you scroll through your list of games, you'll start to see something peculiar. In the upper right corner of the game, there will be a small yellow icon. Zooming into it further reveals the PlayStation Plus yellow plus icon with a white lock on it. If you ever see this lock on one of your games, that means it is no longer available in the catalog. This also appears once you click on it at the very top next to the game's title. Where it gets tricky is if there is a PS4 and PS5 version of the same game. The lock icon will only appear after you click the square. So it's really hard to stumble upon this information on your own. If you do not want this to happen, you gotta know where the menu is. You might not even know which games are leaving until it's too late. So go to Collections again and scroll all the way down to Last Chance to Play. These will be the games that are leaving next month. Now, if you do happen to be playing one of these games that is leaving, on your main menu, you will see either a date of when it's leaving under the game title or a countdown. If it's down to the last day, you will see a physical countdown saying how many hours and minutes you have until this game leaves. But it's hard to know if it's not in your face. So when exactly do these games leave? Well, the games leave the same day the new games come in, and it's usually the second or third Tuesday of the month. So check this menu every single month because you don't want to be in that scenario we just mentioned of a game leaving while you're actively playing it. Or what you can do is subscribe to this channel because not only do we tell you what games are leaving every month, so you'll get a notification, but we also have a series that predicts which games are going to leave every month, giving you an extra 2-week head start. And we've been pretty accurate here in our prediction videos too. Moving on. The premium tier. The premium tier is the last and most expensive tier. It gives you access to classic PlayStation games, game trials, cloud streaming, and even movies. Cloud streaming. Okay, before we talk about the games, we have to talk about cloud streaming. What does this even mean? You see, the PS5 storage is very limited and games are becoming bigger and bigger, some of them up to 200 gigs. We only have about 800 gigs total. So what cloud streaming does is it lets you play the games we talked about from the catalog without having to download them. The games are not even on your system. They're on someone else's, on the cloud. Kind of like the whole playing on your friend's account thing we talked about earlier. This is really useful for saving storage space on your console. You can play almost all the PS4 and PS5 games from the extra catalog, but obviously you will need a great internet connection that can handle it. So this option is not for everybody. The Classics catalog. This is another library of games from past PlayStation consoles. You can play PS3, PS2, PS1, and even PSP. Many of these games are available to stream while some of them can be downloaded. If you go to the Benefits tab, you can scroll through these entire catalogs one by one. Just the PS1 game, just the PS3 games. Or you can go to the list of all the games and it will show you the classics all on one page. You're going to be scrolling for quite a while. My personal feeling, not that you asked for it, is just to get a PS3 used instead. You can get a PS3 with like 20 to 30 games for $100, and that will keep you busy for years. I used to buy PS3 games for like $3 each not too long ago. So I personally don't get why you'd want to play PS3 games on the PS5, but that's just me. Maybe you have a better answer for why this is seen as an upgrade from Extra. Is it the convenience? Game trials. This one, now I can see getting some real value out of. The main issue people have with PS Plus Extra is that they don't get the latest and greatest like Xbox Game Pass does. Sure, we get about 4 day one drops every year, sometimes PlayStation exclusives, but it's nothing compared to how often Game Pass gets brand new games on day one. So in this section, you get to play some of those brand new games too. But the catch is only for a few hours. These are not demos. These are the full games, but with limited access. Spider-Man 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Indiana Jones, Death Stranding 2, Doom the Dark Ages. You can try all these games before you buy. I guess it's sort of like that game share feature where you're playing at your friend's house again. It'll make you decide if you want to buy that new game that came out. The nice thing about this is because of the cloud saves. If this game ever comes to PS Plus or you decide to buy it, you can continue right where you left off. The cloud saves will be waiting for you and you don't have to start from scratch. Sony Picture Catalog. And the last benefit to PS Plus Premium is the Sony Pictures Core app. This is a library of 100 movies to stream at no additional cost. You got all the Spider-Man movies and a few other good ones. You have to download the Sony Pictures Core app from the PlayStation Store and it works just like Disney Plus or Netflix. It's not the greatest one, but hey, it's free if you already have PS Plus Premium. Anyways, that about wraps everything up. Thanks for sticking around the video. Hopefully this will serve as a good starting point for joining PS Plus and help make some things clearer for you. I know on my channel I take things for granted and I assume you know what we're talking about. But let this video be the start of tackling that game catalog journey. Every month we predict the last chance to play, we tell you what new games are coming, and I even recommend PS Plus games if you don't know where to start. We even have a book club where we play the game of the month. If you don't know where to start, click on this video where I go through every single good game on PS Plus Extra. So thanks for spending your time with me, and I hope you get the most bang for your buck, and until next time, be a friend, and I'll see you again.